All right. Well, I'm sure you could tell we were pretty fired up today for many reasons, but the biggest reason is that we have maybe the greatest guest in the history of Winnipeg Sports Talk joining us. He is the undisputed greatest receiver of all time. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and I think many people would agree he might be the damn best football player to ever play in the National Football League. It is an incredible honor to welcome in the man himself, Jerry Rice, to the program. Jerry, thanks so much for doing this. It's a real honor.
Thank you. Man, crazy football, huh?
Oh, well, listen, when I knew that we had the opportunity to talk to you today, we wanted to get to what's coming ahead of us, but I don't think there could be a better time to speak to a legend like yourself coming off the weekend of football we just had. I mean, I know you're still all over the game. I mean, I really, from start to finish, that was, people are saying it. I don't think there's much of a debate. The most exciting, incredible weekend of playoff football we've ever seen in the NFL.
Yeah, both number ones, they get knocked off. Then you have this game between Buffalo and KC that just like it was up for grabs. And it just kept going back and forth, Patrick Mahomes. Then you had Josh Allen. And I think Buffalo did everything possible to try to win that football game. And they still ended up losing the game. And it came down to 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Do not kick the ball all the way to the end zone. Dribble the ball. Take some time off the clock. Do not let Kelsey run straight down the field and get in field goal range. So it was a lot of mistakes made, but, exceptional football. Then my San Francisco 49ers, they go into Green Bay, Lambeau Stadium, the history behind that, and they were able to get a win.
I want to get to the Niners with you in a minute, but just on that KC Buffalo game, we've seen, offense become more and more the driving force in this football game, certainly over the past few years. But the evolution of the quarterback position has been phenomenal to see. And I'm not sure there's been a better display of that in one game by both guys on either side of the football. I mean, you got to feel heartbroken for Josh Allen because he could not have played much better. But Patrick Mahomes continues to prove that he is one of the most special players that's ever hit a football field.
Yeah, he's just like Clint Eastwood. I mean, the ball just comes out of nowhere. Then when you have a receiver like Tyreek Hill, that he's waving bye-bye to people as he's running to the end zone. I've never seen anything like this. And he makes the right decisions. He puts the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and he just let them go play. So, we know he's the captain of the ship, and he's going to make the right decisions. But, man, what a show. And I'm looking forward to, watching this game coming up between the Bengals and KC.
Now, I want to ask you about some of the receivers in general, but let's get to the Niners to go in because they're doing this in a very different way. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, if you had never watched the National Football League before and you tuned in Saturday night and watched a tough, defensive, low-scoring game and then tuned in on Sunday night and watched the Bills and the Chiefs, I mean, you might think you were watching an entirely different sport.
Yeah, it was like no defense. And I'm one of those guys that, when I came into the league, this was taught to me early during my career that you win championships with defense. And we had an outstanding defense back in the day. And now you're seeing points being put up, for San Francisco to go into Lambeau Field and really not let them put so many points on the board, because they got one of the best quarterbacks with Aaron Rodgers. And, to have it to come down to a field goal to win the game, it was exceptional. Then to watch those other teams put up numbers like they did, it was just like, guns blazing. I mean, two of the best quarterbacks in the league, just airing it out, putting the ball in the hands of their playmakers, having a great time out there on the football field. And just like, you just knew it was going to come down to the final seconds.
Well, and that is sort of part of football now in 2022, which has changed somewhat since, the glory days of your 49er teams. But they still do say defense wins championships, and you can't win it without a strong defense. Is the defense the special teams, the running game, the brain of Kyle Shanahan? Is that what's given the 49er nation the confidence to go in and do it again against the Rams on the weekend and get back to the big game?
I think it's a combination of everything with the special teams. And I used to always go and sit in those meetings. I wanted those players to know how important that phase of the game, was to the San Francisco 49ers. And they would look at me like I was weird. Like, why is Jerry in this special team meeting? He's not going to return any punts or kickoffs, or he's not going to run down on kickoffs or punts or something like that. But I just needed to show them how important that was. And positioning is everything. And it's going to come down to defense, though. You got to be able to stop someone. I'm looking for the San Francisco 49ers. I love our defense right now. I like the defensive line. They put in pressure on the quarterback. They'll get into the quarterback. The secondary is holding up. And if they continue that, and we continue to run the ball, I feel like we have a legitimate chance. And, with Deebo Samuel, what he's doing out there on the football field, I want to get Brandon Ayuk a little bit more involved. And, George Kittle is going to be George Kittle. So we still need to continue just to run that ball, then just depend on our defense.
Well, and sometimes the game dictates the way you call and what you need out of your offense. Because, while it's been somewhat pedestrian to get to this point, Jerry, we all remember Week 18 with their season on the line, down 17-0 to the Rams, and they got it done. What did you make of that turnaround, and what does that do for a team playing for their playoff lives to get that done in the final week, and how they've kind of continued that momentum going into these NFL playoffs?
I think it really builds character. It shows that, like you find a way to win no matter what. I think this team is gaining confidence. No one thought that the Niners would be in the position that they're in right now. Because at the start of the season, it was like a roller coaster ride. It was going back and forth. And I think we gave away one game to the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. I think he had 37 seconds on the clock. And he moved the ball all the way downfield, to win that football game. So that one hurt, but we had quite a few games to really hurt us. And still, this team, they fought back. They have the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Everything is on the line now. It's like, who plays their best football? Who plays their best football is going to move on. And I think we have a legitimate chance. We have beat the Rams like 6 times in a row, and I think we can do it again. It's not going to be easy, and with the Rams, what they're doing, because they have some exceptional players too. So it's going to be tough for the Niners to go in there and get one, but I feel like we can.
Now, you mentioned Deebo Samuel. I've got to ask him. He's the offensive star right now for the San Francisco 49ers, and it's been so interesting to see the way Kyle Shanahan has utilized him. He's not only one of the most devastating receivers, but he's kind of turned into one of the best running backs as well. The athlete that Deebo is and the way he's used, why is that so unique, and how has it been so successful?
I think with Deebo, man, he's that slash running back. He's that receiver. If he touches the ball, he has that vision where it's like everything slows down a little bit. It was the same scenario with me, because I could see things happening at a very fast pace, and I knew the areas to get to make big plays. And he has that vision. And I think, as long as the San Francisco 49ers continue to get the ball in the hands of Deebo Samuel, I think we have a legitimate chance.
While we're talking about receivers, I have to ask you about Cooper Kupp. He was the Triple Crown winner. I mean, he put up Jerry Rice-like numbers. He led the league in receptions. He led the league in yardage. He led the league in touchdowns. And another guy that came from a smaller school. I mean, what stands out from Cooper Kupp when you watch him play, and how has he turned into right now the number 1 receiver in football?
I think Cooper Kupp, you look at his route running, he's very shifty. He almost like he puts the defensive back asleep. It's so subtle. Then all of a sudden you see that burst. Then you see that confidence where, he makes those incredible catches. So it's going to be exciting to see, Cooper Kupp and also Deebo Samuel, because as receivers, we feed off that. We want to go up against the best. We want to showcase what we're capable of doing on that given day. So it's going to be a great matchup going back and forth. And, I'm excited about seeing this.
NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer and DraftKings ambassador Jerry Rice with us here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. As far as the AFC Championship goes, I'm a Chiefs guy. I could talk about Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill all day, but respect where it's due. I mean, what a turnaround for the Cincinnati Bengals this season, led by Joe Burrow and another incredible young receiver in Jamar Chase. Bengals fans have been through a lot over the past 30 years, but man, it's got to be exciting in the Natty seeing those two guys doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're having a fantastic time and they're making plays. Joe Burrows, he has confidence in Jamal Chase, and Jamal Chase is going to run. He's going to take it deep. He's going to make those catches underneath. Then he got that running ability too. And I was always one of those receivers that I enjoy catching the ball underneath. Now I could use my creativity to get to the end zone. And it's like everybody's chasing you, and they're out to hurt you. The hair on your back is going to stand up just a little bit more, and you're going to be a little bit faster. And I think you see the same thing in Jamal Chase and stuff like that. But very potent combination, and I think they're going to do well.
They that being said, they got to go to Arrowhead and play a team that they just beat a couple weeks ago. I mean, do you give them a chance against the Chiefs, or do you think your 49ers and the Chiefs are going to be meeting again in a rematch of the Super Bowl a couple years ago?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now. If anywhere you have to go now, you have to have the confidence that you're going to win. And, because everything is on the line, we don't get as many opportunities as, baseball players, basketball players. You only get one shot, and you better be on your game. So, yeah, I'm sure they feel like they can go into Arrowhead and get a win. And that's just like with the San Francisco 49ers going to SoFi. We feel like we can go in there and get a win. And but it's easy said than done. The execution, everything has to happen during the week. The preparation is everything. Once you do that, you give yourself an opportunity to go and do something special.
Jerry, I've got to ask you about what you've got going on with the DraftKings folks heading into the weekend. But just before that, are you ever envious watching today's game, thinking about what you and your guy Joe Montana might have been able to do under the current rules? I mean, you got all the records anyways, but I mean, I can't imagine having you and Joe on my fantasy football team in today's game.
No, you know what? I played in the era that I wanted to play in. I really did, and I don't question anything. I've been asked so many times, oh my God, all the stats that you put up, back when you played, think about this, what you can put up now. But man, it was just something special about that. The physicality of it and stuff like that. I remember defensive backs being up in your face. It was a battle all the way downfield. Some of the best guys like Deion Sanders, Darrell Green. It was physical the entire time. If I was on the left side and the ball was being thrown on the right side, I was still getting hit on the left side. And the ball is not even coming my way. So yeah, I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Jerry Rice, our guest now. Jerry, you're, of course, working with DraftKings, great friends of ours. We're already working on our lineups for Sunday's games. But fill us in on what you're doing as a DraftKings ambassador and what you've got going on for the Final Four of the NFL playoffs.
Well, you know what? It was great working with DraftKings for the NFL playoffs. And they're the leader in sports technology and entertainment. And if you haven't seen the commercial, you got to see the commercial, man. I'm serious. I had so much fun being a part of that, because I got a chance to just pour this cooler on this guy like 20 times or more in the bed, on the couch, in the front yard. This better just kept winning, and that's how we celebrate. I never got it, the opportunity for the cooler to get poured on me or anything like that. But man, it was so much fun, and I got to give him an award. It got to be like the Jerry Rice Award, because I just kept pouring it on him, and he just kept taking it. And it's just amazing to have the opportunity to work with, DraftKings. It was so much fun. It brought out the little kid in me all over again because we never get the opportunity to do something like that, like a commercial. It's always serious. This was just fun for me.
Well, I can tell you that we have a lot of fun playing DraftKings here. We do a lot of hockey, but we're all over the National Football League, and we know when it comes down to sports. And we saw it on Sunday with the TV ratings that the NFL continues to be king. And man, what a weekend we've got coming up for both the players and people that are going to be having some fun playing on DraftKings.
All right, man. Look, let's go Niners. It's time. Hey, I get fired up. I still get fired up. I have to control myself. I really do because, I still love the game of football. I'm very supportive. And I feel like we have some of the greatest fans ever. They're going to be out there. Those are those diehards. And they really motivate us to go out and play our best football.
Got to tell you, this has just been an incredible honor. Cannot thank you enough. Enjoy the games this week, and fingers crossed we will have that Super Bowl rematch of a couple years ago with the Niners and the Chiefs going at it. Jerry, all the best. Thank you so much, and we really do appreciate it.
All right. Hey, either one we're going to have, it could be that one, or we could have Cincinnati and San Francisco again.
Oh,
and you know who won that one, right?
Yeah, well, I do. Yeah, it wasn't Cincy. Have a great one, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Take care.